Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. I wanted to share a concept that I really think is super powerful for anybody that's in their early 20s, maybe your early 30s as well. But what I want to show you in this video is a really cool approach you can take to building your financial future, right? Building that financial stability, because the reality is you can't survive off of one income, and 99% of you are just not good enough to be a successful entrepreneur at that level where your income is stable, where you can build a family, where you could build a financial wall and security for yourself and also even start building wealth, right? Because there's obviously steps to that process. I don't think a job is enough. I don't think you building your career with a company is enough unless you're doing it at a very elite level, which you're not going to be doing at the beginning of your career, especially in your 20s. And then I just don't think you are as smart as you think you are. I don't think you have the skills you think you have that are required to be a high level entrepreneur. So the approach that I want to share with you, and not to be negative and try to hurt your feelings, right? What I'm trying to do is be realistic and give you a approach that takes time, right? But is realistic and can actually help you become very financially stable and then also become very wealthy later on in the future. So your goal in your 20s is obviously to build your skill sets, right? Get really good at the things that you love to do or your career. So you need a dual income. So you need a job that's paying $100,000 a year, right? Even if you live in Southern California, where I live in Irvine, you're like broke with this salary per year, right? This money is all going to rent and bills and electricity and food. Like there is nothing left at the end of the year, right? Even if you're living somewhat frugal out here, right? Because it's expensive. And I might get a lot of comments now saying, just move to a place that's cheaper. That's true, but the career growth opportunities are not going to be as good. And by the way, everything I'm talking about in this video is coming from experience. I'm, a sales and marketing director at a company that's doing $2 billion a year. And I've also built many successful little entrepreneurial ventures, right? I built an agency to 55.5K per month. I built a YouTube consulting business to 40K per month in 23 days. So I have both. I have the dual income, and it's been the best thing ever, right? You don't just have to be an entrepreneur and you don't just have to be someone who works a job. And the idea here is you want to work a job that you love. You want to build a career that you love. You want to be doing something that you love. And it takes a little bit of work, but it's very worth it. So the concept, the idea of this video is you want to have a stable salary, right? This is your foundation. This is your fundamentals, right? This pays for your lifestyle. This pays for that mental stability so that for every other waking hour, right? And with all the skill sets that you're going to learn working in a corporate environment, playing the corporate politics, there's a lot you're going to learn. You're going to learn leadership, you're going to learn sales, you're going to learn marketing, right? Obviously, depending on what field you're in here, you're going to build that expertise because you're not, if you've tried to be an entrepreneur and it didn't work, the reason it didn't work is you didn't know how to build systems. You weren't a good leader. You didn't know how to hire. You weren't good at sales. You weren't good at marketing, and your offer was probably horrible, right? So that's what you're going to do as you build your career, right? You're building your career to have a stable income, to build those skill sets, and then every other waking hour, you're going to build a business on the side. And that business over time will eventually start to generate $100,000 a year profit, take home after tax, right? So for both of these, both are difficult, but the job is absolutely going to be easier to achieve this, right? So if you're in marketing, for example, right, go get that marketing internship, grow within that role, become the marketing coordinator. If you have to jump to another company, become the marketing director, right? Then become the VP of marketing and so on, right? So these are just random numbers I'm throwing out here, but eventually with time, right, you might grow to a 200K a year, 250K a year salary, right? Working with a company that has great culture, great coworkers. And again, you're continuously learning and building skill sets. Some of the best people who are making, 200, 300 plus K a year, they're always learning within their role. They're always investing in knowledge and experiences that it's going to allow them to not only build and do their career better, but also learn the insides and outs of a specific business, right? How many people have gone and worked for a corporate company, right? And seen how much money flows through an entity like that, and then learned a specific sector and then started a business and maybe outperformed that company many, many years down the line, or just built something for themselves that made more than the job they were working, right? So that's the approach you're going to take is, don't have this ego. The stuff that's being flooded to people in their 20s right now about, the only way to success is to be an entrepreneur is so bad and it's so harmful. And that's why you need to have this realistic approach. You need a job to pay your bills because when you're an entrepreneur, and your income is all over the place, right? It's like zigzagged up and down. You're not paying for your bills, and you're also going to have a business that's going to burn and fail, right? Because of the stress you're going to have on your shoulders. So a job is going to create stability, a job is going to create career growth, a job is going to create a healthier, more mentally healthy version of yourself, right? Because when you have a job, you have structured hours, right? 9 to 5. Gym in the morning, knock out your job to pay all your bills, right? And if you're smart with that, you could even be saving, right? Especially if you could make your expenses lower. But at least you know what's coming in so that you can adjust, right? Sell that fancy Mercedes for a few years, right? Go buy a cheaper car, right? Stack up that money, build your savings account so that you can go on the offense, right? If you do a job, you build your career and you're stacking up your savings, that's going to allow you to have some money to deploy, whether you want to end up, purchasing a home, whether you want to end up starting that dream business that you've always wanted to start. But at least you're not starting it from a risky position. You're not starting it from a place where if it fails, you may ruin your life or you may waste your 20s. Like how many people, and please comment and advise and give your perspective at the comment section of this video so people can understand how serious this is, right? Because people that didn't have the skill sets or weren't equipped to become an entrepreneur or become the entrepreneur they thought they were going to be, or maybe they were just chasing after, the dollar signs, and they realized, oh shoot, this is extremely hard, and I don't have leadership skills, I don't know how to build systems, I don't know how to hire, I don't know sales and marketing, and I don't know how to build an offer that people want to buy, right? So that's why this is important. It's both. The answer is both. You don't just have to be an entrepreneur and you don't just have to work 9 to 5 for the rest of your life. And the beautiful thing about this, if I'm, 20 years old, right? I start off as a marketing coordinator, for example, right? I'm giving a random example. And then I go to director of marketing and then I become the VP of sales, right? From 20 to let's say 30 years old. So not only did I just build an incredible skill set, right? A toolbox of things I can use for when I go to start my marketing software, to start my marketing consulting business. But at the same time, I had stable income, I had stability, right? Maybe I put some savings together, maybe because with building a career and especially if you're working with a company that has great culture and great benefits, you could have been, for the last 10 years building your 401k, right? You could have been taking a chunk of your paycheck every single month and throwing it into the S&P 500, right? So again, you're building a financial foundation that's stable, that's realistic, and not chasing this uh, pipe dream that everybody's trying to sell you, right? Again, there are a percentage of people that are extremely talented and will tomorrow go start a business and they'll be doing 100K a month, right? But they have the talent, they have the skill set, but that is not everybody. So again, in this example, you're 30 years old now, let's say you're a marketing director, you're making 150K a year and you got some nice savings. And then even before then, from 20 to 30, you should have been you clock out at 5, come back home, have dinner, see your family, do what you got to do. But from 7 to, let's say midnight, over these years, over this decade, you were slowly and realistically and taking your time and educating yourself and building your business slowly. And in those 10 years, you can absolutely get a business to generate 100K per year profit, right? That's not a hard metric, especially with access to the internet and access to everything we have in front of us. It's nothing like our parents had. You know what I mean? So again, now you're making a clean 200K a year. And again, these numbers could be way bigger, right? You could be at 200K a year. You could be the vice president of operations. Let's say you're really good at operations and you built yourself up. You played the company politics. You chose a company that has great culture. So now you're at 200K a year over that 5, 10 year span, that time span. And then you've also built your business up on the side, right? You've hired the right people. You've taken yourself out of that equation and you're also making 200K a year from your business. So now you're in the 1% of America, right? 400K a year is the 1% of the tax bracket. So simple concept, but people want that fast money. People are chasing the money and they aren't choosing their career wisely, right? You should not be a cashier somewhere. You should not be, a waiter. Like pick something that you're good at, pick something you have a natural talent in, and work hard, do an internship, then become a coordinator, right? Then become a director, then become a VP, and really focus and build your career, build that stability. And in the meantime, simultaneously, you need to slowly start building your business, start building that escape plan, right? Because I don't want to work 9 to 5 forever, and you don't have to, and you don't have to do 9 to 5 for 40 years, right? If you do this effectively, you only have to be in 9 to 5 for maybe, especially if you already have experience, like if you're already somebody that can get a job as a director, that can get a job, as a senior director, you're way ahead of the game, and you can get to these numbers so much faster and so much more realistically than all this crap that you see online, right? So that's the concept I wanted to share. I'm really passionate about this. I think this can be an approach that can work for a lot of people. And again, that will make you very happy, very satisfied. You'll have beautiful work-life balance. It will be harder in the beginning if you have, let's say a very high-paying salary at a great company, and you're also building your business on the side. Of course, it's going to be harder. Of course, your work-life balance might struggle a little bit, but it's going to be worth it because eventually your career is going to be paying 200K a year and your business is going to be doing over 200K a year. Like this is definitely not a limit, especially if you're selling something high ticket. If you're selling something online, then this eventually, especially if you hire and grow your team, like this can become a monthly uh, revenue for your online business or for whatever industry you want to start in. So I hope you found this video valuable. I hope this gave you a perspective that most people are not talking about online. And if you're somebody who's in their 30s or 40s and you took this approach and you're doing very well financially, please share your tips to other people in the comment section. And if you're somebody who kind of wasted 5 years, 3 years, 4 years, only trying to be an entrepreneur, ultimately to realize like, damn, I don't have the skill set I need to actually succeed here. Go back to the drawing board and you're still young, right? If you're younger than 20, like get out of town, right? If you're in your 20s, you're still extremely young. And even if you're 30 years old and you're watching this video and you feel like you're at rock bottom, then again, start slow and start with this approach because I think it's going to give you a lot of clarity. It's going to give you a lot of time to make mistakes and to learn. And I think it's super important. If you're somebody who's trying to start an online business or start that side hustle, or you need help landing a high-paying job, I have those skill sets and I'd love to help you. I'll leave my Instagram in the description, maybe a chance for you guys to book a, quick 15-minute call with me as well. But other than that, get out there, start building your career, start building your income, and build that business side hustle so you could build an amazing financial future for yourself. And again, never rely on one income source. Your boss can fire you tomorrow, and your business can burn to the ground tomorrow from one lawsuit, one bad employee, or one bad decision you may make in that business. So thank you guys for watching. Please let me know your thoughts down in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next one.